Good evening, everyone. We'll call the City of Indio City Council meeting for their closed session portion of it to order. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor. For the record, all council members are present today.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll move on to item number 2 now, which is public comment. Anybody wishing to speak? Is there anybody in the queue or anybody that's asked to speak?
I have none, Mayor.
Thank you. And then we'll move on to item 3 now, which is adjourn to closed session for, we have 5 items on the agenda. Stephen, is it all right if I just go through them, or would you like to do it?
We can say that as stated on the agenda if you'd like.
Okay.
For brevity, if you'd like to read them out loud, we can do that too.
No, we got items 3 through 1, 3 through 5, conference with real property negotiations. We have another one for another real property negotiations, a public employee performance evaluation, another public employee performance evaluation, and then a conference with labor negotiations. So with that, we'll adjourn to closed session, and we'll be back at 5 o'clock.
Promise?
Hope so. If not,
Okay, so I have 2 things conflicted on 10.6, of course,
Yep.
I think that's fiscal route or whatever. And 10.7 talks about tech, and, you know, all the camera stuff and sound stuff.
I just stay out of
It applies
it.
to the downtown.
I just
so
stay out of
going
it.
to-
It's not worth it.
yeah.
It's not worth it.
No.
It's not like it's not going to pass, and it's
And
not
it's
like,
not a big deal.
yeah, it's not like something that's, you know, controversial or anything.
Right.
So, yeah, there's no sense in getting in the middle of it. Well, don't everybody jump up for closed session at one time.
Well, there is sandwiches.
You could have got whatever you wanted.
No, I said there's food. That's my point. So we're gonna jump up.
has to be in it.
1, 2, 3.
You just
Who
have to
does
put
it?
the cover on it.
1, 2, 3.
Well, hold on 1 second here. Just leave it on. Just leave it on until.
then you'll
well,
see
I
it.
don't know if I need it. Yeah, it should be fine. So here, we just need to. What we're gonna do is we're gonna push this down here. Go ahead and move it forward a little bit. We'll just push this all down here. Okay. Move this all out of the way. Go ahead. Push it. Push it. There we go. Over here.
Test, 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 test. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the city council meeting for the city of Indio for the city council and the Indio Water Authority to order. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Huitron.
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Present.
Councilmember Furman.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Holmes.
Present.
And Mayor Miller.
President, this time we're going to have invocation by Pastor Stephen Sloat of the Coachella Valley Christian Church. Then we have a very special individual that's going to do the Pledge of Allegiance for us. Pastor, if you all rise, please.
Please bow with me in prayer. Gracious and loving Lord, we pause now to remember you and your amazing gifts of grace to us. May we not forget that you are always with us, and that even as we serve others, we are ultimately serving you. This evening, Father, we ask for your guidance upon our city council in each of their decisions. Rule over their discussions as they consider the various issues and options. Give them the ability to accurately discern both the intended and unintended consequences for each possibility they deliberate. Then grant them the wisdom to recognize which choice is best, and help them to be good stewards of all the resources entrusted to them. We ask for your gracious blessing on each member of this council in both their public and personal lives. We thank you for their willingness to serve in a role that is often without thanks. And we ask for your special blessing upon Glenn Miller as he is mayor. In addition, we remember before you all those who suffered loss of loved ones in the flood in Kern County in Texas and the surrounding areas. May they be comforted by your kind presence and encouraged by your gracious love. Help them as they adjust to the tragic losses. We pray for all those who are helping out in that area as well. We ask all this in your great and glorious name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. And thank you for your service to our police department. With this, we have a very special individual, Luis Rodriguez from Van Buren Elementary School. Luis will be starting third grade in this coming school year. He's an excellent student and enjoys playing soccer and video games during his free time. Luis, the floor is yours. Please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Don't go anywhere. We got a little swag bag for you for school. Let's go and get a picture. We'll go in the middle. All my kids actually went to Van Buren Elementary School. So it's a great school. There you go. This is yours? You hold it. Thank you again. Well, with that, I want to, first off, for all of you that weren't able to join us here, we had our 20th year since we opened up our time capsule earlier today, so that's why you see all the balloons and everything out here. We're not celebrating our birthday, but yeah, you'll look at some of the pictures, look at some of the stuff, and you'll see some of this online, and all our television stations were here. So we had a time capsule that we opened up that's been there for 20 years with items in it that we're going to take back out, and some of them are going to go into our larger one, and we're going to have a brand new one put into City Hall. So any of our individuals out there that want to bring stuff from any business, church, group out here, pictures of your favorite things, please bring it to City Hall. Our staff would like to look at it, and we'd like to be able to put those in there. And so in 20 years, we said 50 years, but I think 20 years more like it. If people are like 50 years, none of us are going to be here. But so in 20 years, we will open it again up at City Hall, look at what's in it, and then add to it again and breed beautiful history. But one of the things, if you really look at it, we had some letters in there from kids of what they wanted to see in 20 years. And some of it was a new library, a soccer park. And if you look at it today, it is all coming to fruition. Soccer park will open up here very shortly by November. City Hall and the library will be open up by November. They wanted new streets and beautiful landscape, which we have. So really, it was a testament to what our students and citizens wanted, and now the city's responding, and it's because of our great staff, our residents, and the council that is continuing to work towards the goals of our community. So hats off to everyone, and thank you for all these who came here. But there's still more opportunities to put things in our time capsule that goes in City Hall. So with that, City Attorney, can you report on closed session, please?
Yes, Mayor. The City Council did not conclude its closed session deliberations, and so it will recess back into closed session at the conclusion of open session. Any report out of that continued closed session will be made when it is concluded. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that. We'll move on to item 5, which is presentations. And this is a presentation and an update from Doug McAllister, Vice President of External Affairs, Frontier Communications. Mr. Montgomery, you kind of set this up. Would you like to give us a little leadway?
Doug comes without introduction, but from Frontier, and he has prepared a PowerPoint to help guide his discussion. I know there may be some questions, and he's prepared for some of those.
And for those of you who don't know Mr. McAllister, he's a pastor, and he's also a past mayor and council member for the great city of Marietta.
Mayor and City Council, I do appreciate the opportunity to be before you this evening. I know your schedules are tight, and having sat on your side of the days for almost a decade and a half, I feel your pain with regard to schedules and agendas and things. I know you have something to get through and go back into closed session. So my goal for this evening, among other things, is to be as brief as I possibly can, which Glenn will tell you. I'm not really good at that, but I'll do my best.
Thank you.
There it is. I have a brief presentation. I'm going to try to keep that part, the deck part of this extremely brief. Before I get into that, my purpose for being here personally is primarily to do a couple of things. One is to introduce myself to you as a council. Like I said, I've spent a decade and a half on your side. I know exactly what's going through your minds. I've been through thousands and thousands of presentations. I feel it. I understand that part. So that's part of the brief promise. But also from the standpoint of anything having to do with Frontier Communications, anything whatsoever, I've told Brian this as well. I've told you, Mr. Mayor, don't even take the second breath. If something comes to your attention, whatever it might be, I don't care how small it is or big it is, something comes to your attention, I would like to know about it soon, if not after that second breath. As soon as you know, just don't even hesitate. I have people, my responsibility is the entire state of California, every elected, every city manager, every county CEO in the state, and most of them have me on speed dial for that purpose. And I make that very clear, is I work for you. In the sense, Frontier might pay me, but I've made it very clear to Frontier when they recruited me that I would be working for you. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me if something comes to your attention. If it comes to your attention, it matters. I used to get lambasted like you do. I walk into church, I would walk into a store, I'd walk into a city event, and I'd have a constituent lambaste me, and I would have no idea what they were talking about, so I couldn't give them answers. I know how that feels. So I want to make sure that Frontier's not that for you. You either have the answers because we've spoken, or you know exactly where to get them, and I'll take care of that as well. Get it off your desk, put it on mine. What I just said doesn't count towards my 5 minutes for the deck, just so we're clear on that. So let's, okay, move forward. Fiber optic. Frontier is in the middle of a nationwide push to expand our fiber optic network, and California is the biggest state that we're doing this in, the most there. It's, for those of you, most of you understand what the fiber optic network is, but for those who may not, basically it's 21st century technology. We're going to talk about some of the things that makes it a game changer as we go forward. Why I'm here, Frontier recruited me about 3 years ago. I was with Verizon many years ago, but they recruited me to come back because they understood that what they were trying to accomplish they couldn't do without help. And so part of that was, to their credit, was they're trying to turn this massive ocean liner called Frontier Communications with a paddle, onto the paddle, trying to do things better. And the whole idea here, this is my quote, not theirs, my observation has been that if we want to do something bigger than we ever have, then we better do it better than we ever have. And that's why I'm here before you tonight. We've already been building in your city. Many of your constituents already have our fiber in their home. And what I'm talking about primarily here is fiber to the home. There's a business application as well. If you have any questions about that, I can answer those. But before we get started, the permits and construction, after construction, we're in some phase of one of our phases in all three of those. A lot of it is after construction. And why I have the arrow there is because it is important to me that when my contractors say they're done, they are. And sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes that temporary patch is still there after a year. That's unacceptable. Once again, you come across stuff like that, or your constituents tell you about something, if it raises to the level of your attention, I don't care how small. It could be one pothole with temporary patch in it, and that's all it is. I want to know. It could be a constituent that says, they're out in front of my house and no one told me. I want to know. If it comes to your attention there. So anything after construction, we want to make sure they finish what they started. Frankly, they're going to get paid. I want to make sure they do what they're getting paid for. I'm going to handle the first three here. When it comes to the difference, 100% fiber optic connection, I'll have a little illustration of what this looks like. But this is 100% fiber from our wire center to the side of the house. Our wire center to the business. There is no copper involved, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the nice things about that is it allows for massive capacities and speeds. You get a strong connection, number two there, with more devices. I did a study. I didn't do a study. I read a study that said the average household has 22 devices in their home. I didn't believe it. And so I went home and counted mine. It's me, my wife, and my cat. 13 devices running all the time, and I'm on one of the lowest speeds Frontier has, and I never have an issue with fiber at all. There's no choke points. You can put as many people on there as you want. This is not DSL. This is not glorified DSL. This is full-on fiber. The access, what you have there because of this technology, I don't know why you need 7 gigs in your house, but some people like it. You can have up to 7 gigs of capacity and speed to your home. That by itself is a economic development driver. I will tell you that when I was with Murrieta as the mayor, Verizon came to me and wanted to do this new thing called Fios. And I was looking for a broadband backbone for our city. We had so many other of the attributes needed to create jobs in the city, to keep people from getting on the road and driving 2 hours to San Diego or whatever it might be. And so all I heard was blah, 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 free. So I said, when can you start? And unfortunately, we did the entire city at one time. I wouldn't recommend that. That's why we're doing you in phases. But at the end of the day is that was 50 megs. And just by having 50 megs of speed, we went from a bedroom community to biotech, new hospitals, you name it, all the medical studies and such that are happening there. But it was something that we promoted. So I'm not saying promote Frontier, but when you're talking to businesses out there, you're trying to recruit, make it really clear what you've got here. You can keep our name out of it. They'll eventually figure it out it's us. But from the standpoint, make it clear what you've got here, because it is an economic development driver. We built out Bishop a year or so ago. And I've been telling about Destin Deshawn there, the city manager, is telling me that they have people now moving from the Bay Area to Bishop because they get better and more capacity of their internet in Bishop than they get at their home office in the Bay Area, and they're not spending $1 million on an apartment. And so the quality of life is much better. So those kinds of things are things you can use for economic development. This is just a brief illustration from the wire center to a hub. The hubs we try to place outside communities because they're above ground. And then we have the terminals in front of the homes, and then that's the router inside the house. But it goes from the wire center all the way to the house. This is you. The red area is roughly, I believe it's accurate, your city boundaries. We're doing, and this is for the rest of 2025, we're doing another 400 resident addresses here in your city. We've already done a bunch. I don't know what 2026 looks like because a lot of things may be changing in 2026 based on people come courting to try to purchase Frontier. But we don't have that planned out yet, but we're going to continue to build out until we're finished with your city as well. So this is the phase we're doing at this point. The building itself is about equal parts. You've got aerial, where we just overlash onto existing copper. We have in-ground conduit that's already existing. Those are easy. There's traffic control plans. But then sometimes we have to bore to put new conduit in, and so those are the more complicated permits. It's about equal parts each one of those. I'm going to do this real quick because this is not a commercial. But this kind of reflects the pricing. I will tell you that those prices are wrong. They are now lower, except for the 1 gig and the 7 gig. I'm sorry, the 2 gig and the 7 gig. Everything else is lower than what you see up there. I'm going to get off that because I want to think it's not commercial. But the reason we're doing that, or we're able to do that, is we are divorcing ourselves from the video aspect, where you buy 6,000 channels and you watch 6. You can stream anything you want on this as well. But I know I went from over $200 a month for my cable and stuff, so I can watch all that. I'm well under 100, and I watch anything I want to see now. And so it's very price efficient, shall we say, cost efficient for residents as well. Once again, that's the residents. That's fiber to the home. Business side of this as well is such that, or where it's government, private sector, public sector. If you have a business that wants to get involved in this and such, and it came to your attention that they do, then it qualifies to talk to me. I'll make sure they talk to the right person faster than they will if they try to call into the company. So we make sure they get connected as soon as, get all the details. It's a different setup for businesses, and makes it a little more complicated, especially for those. Some of them can just use the fiber that we have to the homes. Others need 100 gigs, and we can take care of that if they need that. So I don't know how close I was to 5 minutes. I don't think I was, but I leave the rest of the time, anytime else you might want it for any kind of questions you might have.
Any questions of Mr. McAllister? Oscar?
Sure. I know we had a few outages for the 911 line recently that was somehow connected to Frontier. Can you give us a little info on that?
I am so pleased you asked that question. I sincerely am, because it reflects a huge issue we have right now. You may have read in the news about more of the tariffs with regard to copper and 50% on that and such, and copper was already pricey. We are having a rash. It's a rash of cable theft, and it's very brazen. To be out in the middle of nowhere. In fact, when I was driving here, I saw a spot where I think we've lost some cable. I need to report in and such, because there's nothing there, and there should be. But they're coming through. They'll cut down the poles, and they'll take 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet of it, and they're gone. They're in and out in 10 minutes taking this, and it's hard to catch them. I will give kudos to the sheriff here in Riverside County. They work with us very well, but we're looking for other choices there. So the most of your outages is because somebody cut our cable, and when that happens, we'll have some times where they'll cut the cable in some place in Riverside County, and Bishop is out. It's just the way the network works. Yeah. And so it's a huge issue for us, into the tens of millions of dollars of cost to us to get these things. Unfortunately, what's happening so much, we're getting really good at fixing it fast. But in the meantime, that's where the 911 happens. I will tell you also, I tend to find out about your outages before the company knows. So once again, if it happens, you let me know, and I'll make sure it's covered and taken care of as fast as possible. The other reason it happens, most of it's cable theft. There are instances where there's a contractor working for somebody, and they just cut our lines. And so it's not vandalism. It's just they didn't do their due diligence, and they cut our lines. And so it's the same thing. We just have to find out where the cut is and how far it damaged, and get that repaired. And then every so often we'll have a piece of our equipment go weird, but that's like 1% of the time, because we watch that pretty closely. But most of this has to do with folks going out and vandalizing our lines and taking them and selling them.
I saw that you said you're planning to have 400 new customers in Indio by the end of the year. How many current customers do you have for this?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, no worries.
I can try to find out. I can't answer that in public. It's proprietary, but I can try to get that answer for you if you like.
Any idea what the average cost is per home for the services?
No, it's as low as $29 a month. The average, I think most folks, let me go my notes here. Most folks go for at least the 1 gig. I do 500 over 500 because it's plenty for me. Most folks go for the one or 2 gigs, and that's $64 a month for that.
I think that's the one I have.
Okay. Hope it works.
Also, I am a happy customer, but I appreciate that you guys never call me, which I really like. Yeah.
Well, you be sure you call me if you need to.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments from council? Mr. Montgomery, do you want anything else? Okay, thank you. Mr. Gutron?
I just wanted to say that the mayor and I had an opportunity to visit your facility, and it's outstanding in what you do and the work that you do. And we are glad that you're part of the community.
And be clear, I'm not exaggerating. When they came to recruit me, I didn't think they would take the gig I was going to offer, which was you pay me, but I don't work for you. I'm sincere about that. We've talked about this. I have found that I get better information from the ground. And so I'm not going to come in and say, here, Frontier, the square peg, we're going to force into a round hole. I'm not going to do it. I've been on that side of the dais when people try to do that to me, and I don't handle that well. And so I am your partner on this. I have found that when you say jump, I say how high, we get things done a lot faster. So that's why I exist.
Thank you, Mr. McAllister.
Sure.
Appreciate your
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
opportunities. And just make sure that the city manager has our information, send it out to us, and we'll make sure we put it in our phones.
Okay. I believe you have, well, just in case. I'm going to do that right now.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item number 6 now, which is city manager report and information. Mr. Montgomery?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to, because we have some of them here, the marketing and events team for the city, the staff, has just done such an outstanding job. You mentioned the event we had here right before the meeting with our time capsule. Outstanding event for the 4th of July, the Independence Day Bash. Had a successful movie night again, and second Saturday. Just fabulous servants that are helping make the community a better place. You also mentioned the City Hall and the library. We are looking at a opening for the library in late August, perhaps early September. So the library is getting very, very close. City Hall is going to be a little bit disjointed, but sometime in November we will be in the new building. But the existing building then will take some time to take down and to have the whole complex complete. But providing services to the public sometime in November will be in the new City Hall. The police headquarters building is well into the design phase and the financing. Just had another meeting today. We have a credit presentation next week. So it looks like all is going well with the financing for the headquarters building. So a lot going on. The golf course clubhouse will also be done later this fall. And you mentioned the sports complex also later this year. So just those quick updates, Mayor.
A lot of good things. Thank you for recognizing the staff and all the work that they do. We do appreciate that and appreciate you. With that, we'll move on to item number 7 now, which is City Council Conflict of Interest Disclosures. Anybody have anything they need to address?
I do.
Okay.
Of course. I have a couple of conflicts due to the fact that I have a business downtown, so I have a financial conflict. Let's see. Let me get there. Items 10.6 and 10.7 I'm conflicted out on, and then under public hearings 12.1 and 12.2.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Nope. All right. With that, then, we'll move on to our City Council report on meetings attended for the Government Code Section 53232.3D. Mr. Gutran, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, first of all, I hate to start off with something like this, but unfortunately we all face in our lives people that we care and love and they pass. And for us, we should make a note in remembrance, and I'd ask the mayor to end this meeting in thinking of Linda Abajan. So Linda Abajan started out the city police department in support services. She eventually, in the 90s, was given the opportunity to be the Chief of Police Executive Assistant. She worked for Chief Tom Ramirez, Chief George Rawson, and Chief Brad Ramos. But the special thing that she gave is that in our efforts in being more involved in the community, her husband volunteered to be Santa Claus. It was Mel Abajan. And those that remember them, he started in Mecca Vineyards, he started at the Farm Labor Camp, all these projects where we have those people that are just trying to make a living, trying to do better with themselves and need some little bit of spiritual and guidance and support during the holidays. So Mel played Santa Claus. And eventually it grew into our other projects throughout the cities, throughout our city of Indio, that her wife, Linda, joined them. So now we had Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. Jim Curtis recruited him to be the Tamale Festival Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. Jim Curtis had them all over the city. By that time, in October, they would be in high demand throughout our city, at churches, events, private gatherings, and then throughout the community. They continued that. They gave it out of the joy of their heart and supporting our community. So I attended their services, and which were held in in Forest Lawn in the city of Palm Springs. And I was fortunate that Chief Brian Tully joined, and many members of the community. And I just thought, in remembrance of what they gave, thank you to their family for having them as part of our community, beyond just being an dedicated employee, but giving of heart to give to others. So that was good. The next one, I'm sure you all commented on our beautiful 4th of July. I'll just touch the tip of it because I'm sure we all have great things to say. It was a beautiful event. I haven't seen an event that way in quite a long time, ever since we stopped doing the fireworks show. And, you know, things have changed. The venues are there, and the venue was nice. Families attended. There was a lot of kid activities. The music was outstanding, the entertainment. Everybody was enjoying the evening. And I hope that everybody knows that this is just the start. There was positive comments to make it grow, and we paid attention. But overall, I think it was a beautiful event. And thank you to the staff that did their hard work. The next one was the Association of Governments, CVAG. I attended, most of the council did as well. It just goes to show how much funds are invested throughout the valley and what Indio benefits from being part of CVAG. But it also just doesn't represent the cities. It represents the county. It represents Blythe, California. They're part of it. And it also represents our tribal governments. Every single one of those public agencies benefit from it. It was a good event to get an overall of how things are going and the direction they're going. And their direction is going with the direction of Indio, moving up and onward, making it better. So thank you for that opportunity. The last one for me was Founders Day at the California Desert Trial Academy. The College of Law, otherwise known as CDA, that is located in downtown Indio on Fargo Street. It is wonderful. I had the honor of attending. Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Holmes also was there as well. And it was nice to kind of see the 30 individuals, from attorneys to judges to members that are practicing law right now. And my hat's off to John Dolan, one of the founders, and his wife, Irene, and Sue Stedding, who was the number 2 of the district attorney's office for many years. Another role model in the community, by the way. It's nice to know the type of education that our community has in Indio, in the study of law, and all associated type of jobs that involve that career, and what they do to prep people to eventually be something in law, whether an attorney, legal clerk, and so forth. It's just really nice to see that grow out of Indio. So that is my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Catron. And since we have to go back into closed session, I'll have you lead a moment of silence so that we can do it while there's individuals here instead of us being at the dais at the end.
Thank you.
Mr. Ortiz?
Thank you, Mayor. Yesterday I had a meeting with the Inland Regional Energy Network. We're looking at distributing funding for building decarbonization, which will be funding appliance upgrades for low-income homes throughout the Southern California region. Right now, there's $390 million available for all of Southern California, and we'll be working with the Inland Empire Community Foundation and other local nonprofits to get the word out to the neighborhoods who are eligible to apply for these funds in the upcoming months. I also want to thank our staff in the Empire Polo Grounds for helping us organize our first 4th of July at the Empire Polo Grounds. We had an amazing turnout, and we saw many families having a great time out there, enjoying the food, music, and our drone show. So thank you to our staff and all of our local artists, Radio Ready and Tina Turntables, for giving us a great show for our 4th of July celebration. Also, thank you for our police department who had the dunk tank out there. People were really enjoying that. I also attended earlier today our time capsule revelation, so we had a chance to join a lot of community members. Thank you for everybody who came out to join us for that. And we had a chance to celebrate our history and look into our past and appreciate the differences and similarities that we've seen over the past 20 years here in the city of Indio. I want to encourage our residents to submit their photos until next Friday, the 25th. You'll be able to submit your photos online at indio.org, and we'll add those to our USB drive that will go into our new time capsule to be opened in 20 years. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Mr. Furman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a quick report. Much like some of the council members, I attended to CVAG General assembly event. Another good event. It just gives us a moment to recognize the collaborative spirit in our valley, how we move as a region to get a lot of things done and completed. If you look at the Coachella Valley, we're often battling other areas like San Diego, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, San Jose for funding from state and federal partners. And so it's optimal that we move as a region. So that was something that they've done years ago to form CVAG, and we take this time out every year to recognize some of the accomplishments. And like it was mentioned, we're on track to do some really good things. So I'd like to thank our outgoing chair, Ted Wow, who's the mayor of Rancho Mirage. Thank you for his leadership, and also thank you to Tom Kirk for being innovative and forward-thinking and very fast working when it comes to a lot of our projects. And also, I attended an IID board meeting with Mr. Kirk and one of his staff members. I think it gave us an excellent opportunity to go down into Imperial County and address their residents about the concerns that we have in the Eastern Coachella Valley in respects to power now and in the future. I chair the Coachella Valley Power Agency, so I wanted to ensure their residents that we do have their best interests at heart as well as we move forward. Nonetheless, along with our city manager, our board, and the city of Indio, we formed a JPA to move forward. And, talking to the city manager, our equipment is en route, for the future. And that's a big thanks to our community and our council here for being very forward thinking and not only thinking about now, but thinking about the future. And I think that ties in perfect to today's event. When we look back, we want to ensure that we made the proper decisions for our future. In 20 years, when we come back, I want to see. I want to see the results of some of the things that we've done. So, a great meeting to attend to address their community. I also attended the 4th of July celebration at Empire Polo. Another great family event, and that's what Indio's about. We're growing. We're 100,000 people, but we're still a big family. It was mentioned earlier. We that's what we do here. And we're a community. There's a lot of families out there, kids. It was mentioned our police department, Lieutenant Leva was getting dunked in the water. I got to see that, but that's a bigger thing that's happening there. People are coming out. People are trusting us to make these decisions, so it's greatly appreciated. And the other thing is when I seen that Indio logo and those drones up there, I stood up. I thought that was pretty cool. So thank you to our staff and Empire Polo for collaborating with us and strengthening our relationship with them. It's not just about festivals. We've had some runs there. We've had community events, and this is another notch in the belt, so to speak. And the last thing I attended was the retirement party for Desert Recreation District Director Kevin Coleman. He retired after 27 years, as was mentioned earlier. So I attended that and represented the city, gave him a certificate. But, congratulations to him, but Desert Recreation serves a big purpose in our valley. So it's good to recognize him, but it's also great to have that partnership because it's been here for 75 years, changing trajectories of lives. It services our community, our parks, our youth, our seniors, everyone in the community. So it's a great partnership. So it was great to be there to recognize the work that Kevin has done in our community, and also the same thing, what's in store for the future? What does our partnership look like with them? So that was another great event, and that will conclude my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Furman. Mayor Pro Tem Holmes?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I want to talk about the Independence Day Drone Show, and thank you to Empire for being such great community partners and being able to work together with us. Thank you, staff, for your creativity. I mean, there were things for the kids to do. That was a lot of fun. I mean, it wasn't just come to see the drone show and listen to music, which was outstanding, but it was come and have fun and make it a family event. And so when I got there about 5:45, it was great. There are already people there on blankets ready for this. And then it just grew and grew and grew. So it was absolutely a terrific event. I look forward to next year. I'm sure it'll be even bigger and better. But I feel your same sentiment, and that Indio logo came up. You just really had that passion, that sense of pride. Yeah, that was really terrific. As everyone else attended the CVAG. It's nice to see CV Link. I drive down either Jackson or Gulf Center Parkway, and the little signs, particularly the one on Gulf Center Parkway, is up. And I know several people that have been riding their bikes and whatnot. So it's neat to have that pathway and to see how it's going to develop. Now we're going to be working on the concert line as well that goes down and around Avenue 48. We're going to get started on that. So there's really going to be no spot, and particularly in our end of the valley, where people can't get to with bicycles or golf carts or whatever their mode of transportation is. Not vehicles, not motorcycles. I attended the second Saturday. I enjoy the events here, whether it's second Saturdays or movie nights. I encourage everyone to come out. I know you think it's hot. I tell you what, when the sun goes down, it's a beautiful, beautiful evening. And then we get to support our local food truck people, and we can get some burgers. It's really wonderful. It's a great environment to be in. Attended the Founders Day as well with Councilmember Goutron. It was great. I remember the day that we opened, or that the law school opened. It was just a terrific day in our city, knowing that there was such a need for judges, such a need for attorneys and whatnot, and to have this institution in our city, and to have people like John Dolan and Sue Stedding, and it's just a beautiful facility with the intent of training and future lawyers, future attorneys, and it's a wonderful organization. So thank you for that. What else? Talking about the time capsule, that was a fun event. This IID JPA that we all put together and approved, about a year ago? That's a game changer for our city. That has laid the foundation for the future, for our future growth, for many, 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 many years. And I think, that I almost want to put that JPA in the time capsule coming up, because it was such a monumental, it was a heavy lift. And it really, again, it's really the foundation for our future. And that's all I have. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I actually had quite a few committees that were active. First one was Sunline Transit Agency. It's that time of the year where they do their budget and they do their analysts. The budget for Sunline went up about 10%. It's at $55 million. Most of it's for bus services throughout the Coachella Valley, and also the line that goes to Cal State University San Bernardino, up in San Bernardino. And then also $36 million worth of capital improvements. And most of those capital improvements are going to be based out of their Thousand Palms area, but also quite a bit in Indio, including some new bus stop shelters, and also they're fixing up their facility off of Highway 111. So look forward to an investment. We changed our officers. Lynn Mulatto from Rancho Mirage is now the chairperson of Sunline, and John Pena from La Quinta is the vice chair. Along with Councilmember Oscar Ortiz, we had our waste transfer station with the city of Coachella. We talked about how we're going to move forward. We approved our budget, including the land purchase that we're doing for the expansion of our waste transfer station, and also looked at a 6.7, unfortunately, rate fee because of the county of Riverside charging more for their tipping fees of solid waste. So we have to look at how that came up, but the waste transfer station will be enlarging it to take the capacity for not only the city of Indio, but also the city of Coachella as we continue to expand. CVAG, we did it not only the General Assembly, I had the Executive Committee. A lot of it was we approved the budget, as Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Holmes alluded to. We have a music line that started really in the city of Indio. It's a bike line that actually goes along 48th and goes down to the Polo Grounds, and it plays music. We're going along. It is now expanded into Coachella and La Quinta. It's about an $88 million project that is being led by CVAG, and they'll be raising the funding for that. But it's something that they feel very strongly about as we're continuing to look at other kinds of transportation, bicycles, and that is a large part of what the state of California is moving forward with. We were also able to talk about the CV Links, the maintenance of it. It's a large endeavor. We gave a contract to Desert Recreation District to take over the maintenance of it. It's about $600,000 for a year to be able to maintain CV Links throughout the whole Coachella Valley, just not the city of Indio. Each city will then have to provide support for public safety and other stuff. It hasn't all been worked out yet. As you can see, CV Links is almost completed in the city of Indio, and it should be pretty shortly. So we'll see how that endeavors and what we have to do, and we'll adjust with that with CVAG. And then lastly, on that part of it, during the General Assembly, we also changed from Ted Weil, who's from Rancho Mirage, to V. Manuel Perez now is the chairperson for CVAG Executive Committee, and Joy DeConnick from Blythe is the vice chair. So that was a great opportunity. Let's see, I've got one other budget, the one that I haven't done, Evra, with the Mayor Pro Tem. We do a joint venture with JPA with Valley Sanitation District. We're talking about recyclable water. We look at how we can take an opportunity. Ray Trejo is our representative for the city of Indio, and we're working with them on trying to get recycled water redone here in the Coachella Valley, using that water that we're dumping into the canal and actually trying to clean it and recycle it to use it on the golf courses, hopefully Eagle Falls or maybe even the lights of Indio, and so that we can utilize that water instead of dumping it in the channel. It is clean, but not to an extent that we're able to use it, and we have no distribution center, so we will be working on that, trying to get the funding through the state of California or the federal government to help us make that project go forward. And then lastly, I want to thank the staff for the Independence Day Bash. What a great opportunity to bring your families out. Radio Ready, the band that was actually there, if you didn't get a chance to go, they were excellent. Tina Turntable is always great. She does all the things out for the city of Indio, but also throughout the Coachella Valley. So my hat's off to all of them and then staff, because it was a big endeavor to be able to do that. Our partners throughout different agencies, including the Indio Police Officers Association, that were getting dunked and raising funds, but also all the other agencies that came out to support the city of Indio, because there's a lot of 4th of July, Independence Day events going on, but none of them that was actually a drone show. And we really looked at that to be able to not only utilize the community, everybody was welcome, but also so that it didn't have an effect on animals and also people with PTSD. So it was a different kind of opportunity to honor our country for its 249th birthday. And then lastly, the ribbon cutting for Golden Life Manor, which is a assisted living home in Indian Palms. There's another 6 beds. They already had individuals there. They're utilizing it for senior citizens that are in the last part of their life mostly, but it was a great opportunity to see an organization come and give support for our community. There's 6 beds there, and all 6 of them are already full. It just shows you what a need we have for services like that, and it's great to see that people are investing. This was the first one out in this area. They did have, I think, about 6 or 7 other ones throughout California and other areas, but it just shows you the amount of services that we need to come back and work with our community. So with that, I will move on to the next item, which is the appointments of the Citizens Finance Advisory Commission and also our Planning Commission. They are both from Councilmember Wayman Furman, so I will push this over to you to lead this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so I have these 2 commissions that came up, and I have some really great candidates, and I would like to call up Allison, who I selected for our Citizen Finance Advisory Commission, to give a little background about herself and talk about why she loves the city so much. After speaking with her, it was hands down that she was the person for this position. So Allison, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to Councilmember Furman for the nomination. I'm really excited about being able to participate. I was born and raised here in Indio. I'm glad to be able to come back and give back and to be able to use my experience. I've worked with the Riverside County Library System as a program manager and worked in finances, running a literacy department throughout the county. Right now I work with the state of California, and I work in grant making for library jurisdictions across California. So I'm really excited to be able to apply what I've learned so far and all of my experience to this position. Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Welcome to the Indio family. So we look forward to having you work with us.
So I'd like to make a motion to appoint her for Citizen Finance Advisory.
I'll second.
First by Councilmember Furman, second by Councilmember Ortiz. Please vote, or are we going to have to do it by hand?
Yes, please.
Roll call.
Thank you. Councilmember Huiton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Furman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Holmes,
Aye.
and Mayor Miller.
Aye. Pass unanimously. Welcome to the Indio family.
Welcome.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Really excited.
Yeah, our staff will be in touch with you on all the things you need to get, your email and all the other stuff that goes on. And Sabdi, I believe, will take care of that. Do we need to swear them in, or what are we doing?
I will give them the oath before their meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Mayor, if I can move on to item 9.2, which is
Absolutely.
appointment of Megan Scarborough Echo to the Planning Commission. Megan is also, well, she was previously a community service commission, but not only that, her application, it speaks for itself. But this is something that I know Mayor Miller talked about earlier. He was the planning commissioner for 6 years, and then he came and got elected to council. And she was the perfect person for this position to continue to move forward in our organization. So I couldn't be more happy with the work that Megan has done already in the Community Service Commission. I know her partners over there and Jim Curtis are a little upset at me for stealing her. But you know what? She's still part of Team Indio, and I'll let Megan give a couple comments.
Thank you, Councilmember Furman. I truly appreciate the appointment after spending 7 years on the Community Services Commission, which I hold very dear and near to me. I spent a lot of time with Chief Tully there as well. And I'd just like to say that this appointment means a lot to me. I was born and raised in the city of Indio, and I work in the city of Indio as the clerk of the board at the Coachella Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District. So public service is definitely a part of my life, and I'm excited to continue helping to shape this city that has shaped me so much. So thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for stepping up to the next level.
Right.
Thank you.
Planning Commission, there's a lot of responsibility, and we appreciate you doing that because it's very important to us.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to appoint Megan Scarborough-Echo to Planning Commission.
I'll second that.
Got a first by Councilmember Furman, second by Mayor Pro Tem Holmes. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Huitron,
Aye.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Aye.
Councilmember Furman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Holmes,
Aye.
and Mayor Miller.
Aye. That's unanimously. Welcome.
I'd just like to say that I've had the privilege of seeing her at Vector Control, and I'm glad to see another homegrown part of the team. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I also got a tour at the Vector Control with Megan a few weeks ago. It's great to see the work that they're doing over there, and we used to go to elementary school together, and we'd be very competitive against each other academically. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, with that, we'll move on to item 10 now, which is consent calendar. Does anybody want to pull anything? And obviously, we have the two abstentions from Mayor Pro Tem Holmes on 10-6 and 10-7. City Attorney, as long as we don't pull them, we don't need to have her leave the dais, correct?
That's correct. We can just note it in the minutes, Mayor.
Thank you. Does anybody want to pull point 6 and 7?
I wanted to pull 7, and I wanted to pull 10.4 and 1022.
So start with 10-4.
Yeah, let's do 10-4. Go ahead.
So 10.4, I would like to do, because there's an investment, and I had asked the city manager, we spoke earlier this week, every single item that I just asked, I made sure staff was aware. And I'd just like a little bit of explanation to the public, our investment because of these events. If they're important, I think it's important that we do that, and a lot of this stuff. But with our Measure X and whatnot, Measure S, obviously it took some time to get them approved. I want the public to know why. It wasn't that we weren't doing things. And the direction that you've been able to finally gather your herd to be having a meeting, because it took a while.
Ruby?
Yes, Councilmember Gutron. Ruby Walla, Finance Director for the City of Indio. Yes, so as reported in the staff report, and where we got to today is that the last time the CFAC Commission actually met was August of 2021. Again, a lot of things happened then, COVID coming out of that. There were attempts to have meetings with the Commission. However, it was difficult to achieve quorum amongst all the members, so there is history there. But in terms of the CFAC's mission and their core is that they review the annual reports related to Measure X and Measure S dollars, so the tax dollars associated with the city, and looking at and review how the dollars are coming in, the revenue that comes in, and what they've been spent, how they've been spent, and are they aligned with the measures in place. And so for the public's information is that these audits, basically these annual reports that are referenced and required to be reviewed by the commission, happen on an annual basis as our normal process throughout the city in connection with all our city audits. It's just a separate report that our engaged auditors conduct. And so what happens is once this report is available, the commission is to gather to have a meeting to then review those audited reports, and from there they make a recommendation, just take any, ask questions, vet it out, and then move forward with the recommendation to present it to City Council. So then going back, of course, we were unable to achieve a quorum over those years. Prior to me joining Team Indio, there was an attempt to have a meeting scheduled January of 2024 to bring us up to date. Quorum was not achieved at that point, and then onboarding, it just took us time. But again, we finally got it together and met on June 6th and achieved quorum at that point. And so what we did is to bring them current, we reviewed all the reports. The reports have been presented online and available online for public view. This was just the formality to be in compliance with the commission's role.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, Ruby. It's not that you're not doing your job, it's that the public needs to know why it took so long. The conversations that even Elaine Holmes and I had, we were talking about what was CFAC's mission. It's changed, and I know I had a discussion with our elected official, the treasurer, which is Rob Rockwell, who's our retired director of finance, and he said that he was willing to also help encourage and help you. And I said, well, they're going to need the help, because I still feel that that oversight is necessary because they represent the public and they're appointed by this body. So everything's done to kind of have that open book and do our best to educate the public, because we are investing a lot of money for good things. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, of course. And then the last thing is that although it's an annual meeting, just to kind of recap on the June 6th meeting, the commission did agree, so welcome, Allison, but to meet on a quarterly basis until we, kind of get consensus and get our coordinate in place as far as how we're going to address these audits and review that more closely, and then decide how we want to structure that.
Thank you for your good work.
Thank you. And we'll leave 10.7 to the end. You said you had 10.22, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had discussed this with the city manager and the mayor. I said, it is a big ticket item for us in many ways, not just money, but the hearts of our community dealing with the animals and so forth. And we talked about it, and we talked about it at our last council meeting. And I think it's important that we know that our voice was heard. Jonathan, and direction by the city manager, has done his best to troubleshoot some of those items. And I want to make sure that this investment we're doing is that we've been heard, and what things that the council asked have been addressed. At least you're in the process of either completing them or they've been mitigated. So I think it's important for the public to know.
Jonathan?
Yes. Thank you, Councilmember Gutron and council members. Jonathan Nix, Assistant City Manager. So just to recap what Councilmember Gutron mentioned, the City Council did approve a one-year agreement with Riverside County Department of Animal Services at the last meeting. So the city staff, myself, we reached out to the county and notified them of that approval and started working on drafting the agreement. At that point, the county notified us that their preference would be to enter into a 3-year agreement. Their justification for a 3-year agreement is they have services with 16 cities total in Riverside County, and they like to keep that consistent. So they're offering 3-year agreements to all 16 of those cities. So they'd like to also extend that to the city of Indio. Also, as presented during the June meeting, they are doing a significant hire of more staff for sheltering services and marketing and outreach to also provide more services to all animals throughout the county. So since they're doing that large effort of additional staff, they'd like that consistency of a longer agreement. And also because that increase in services, there's also an increase to the budget as mentioned. And so they're also offering the city of Indio and other cities a phase-in rate over a 3-year period. So those are their primary reasons why they would like to have the city consider a 3-year agreement instead of a 1-year agreement. Also, Dr. Mary Martin, the Director of Animal Care Services, is also here to answer any questions. I also do want to remind the council that we still intend to provide an update in November or December at kind of the halfway mark of the fiscal year to provide that update, get those reports that were requested at the last meeting, and dig a little deeper into the services that are provided throughout the city. I will also say that after the last council meeting, the animal care officers graciously came to City Hall, met with me, introduced themselves, and provided me some updates about the services that they are doing throughout our Indio community. So, and if pleasure of the council, or we can invite Dr. Mary Martin up as well.
Absolutely. Any other questions of Jonathan? Mr. Gutron?
No, just for two clarifications. One, your communication reports monthly that will talk about services that are done besides the quarterly report to the council. Last, just to clarify for the community, is that of all those contract cities, there's 7 of them in the Coachella Valley and the county services.
I'll defer that over to Dr. Mary Martin. So, Councilmember Gutron, your question was about how many cities are receiving?
Within the Coachella Valley, besides the entire county that they contract with. I believe it's 7.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us again, and thank you for calling me doctor, but it's Dr. Kim Youngberg, and I'm not a doctor.
I promoted you,
Yeah, but I appreciate the, honorary doctor, yes.
Yeah.
No, and thank you for having us again, and I'm so sorry, could you repeat the question, sir?
What it was is our Assistant City Manager, Jonathan Nix, mentioned about the contracts that the county has throughout the county of Riverside.
Right.
But more important for the Coachella Valley, there's 7 contract cities plus your regular county services.
And yes, I think that is correct, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this time, that is correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll go back to my concern is that we're getting the services that we're paying for. I've been through the city multiple times. Your trucks stand out like a sore thumb. It's not like you can't notice them, like it's a regular truck that goes through. And I noticed that I just don't see them. And all I've asked is that you give us, you don't want to give me the GPS, that's fine, but then you certify that these people are working in our city 24 hours a day, basically, or how many hours we have. We have 3 full-time officers. But also, the last time I saw one of your trucks, I was behind it, and they were leaving Indio going towards La Quinta. And I happened to notice it because you can see the back of the truck. I was about 6 or 7 cars, and then it goes up, and it gets to about a little before Lowe's, and it stops because there's a dead animal in the street. So they stop and turn the lights on and do that. But I was told that any of our vehicles, unless it was a number 1 category, wouldn't leave our city. I'm not saying not to go do it, but it is mutual aid, and we do go. I'm sure that and we would appreciate that too. If there was a dead animal on the street, we don't want people to see it, that we would send the nearest person to do it. But I just want to make sure that that's accurate, because we all have mutual aid. We all go crisscross over. I just want to know the hours we're working. Don't need to know their names for that, and so that we have the record that we're doing it, because it is a large ticket item. And as we move forward with the new shelters, with the no kill, we're all having to go together. If we want to or not, we're all having to go together, which I'm not against or for. I'm not taking sides. But it is a large ticket item, and when you're talking already $1 million something and add another $400,000 to $500,000 to it, it makes a difference on our budget. That's equivalent to three police officers if you add to what we're doing. So I want to make sure that what we're paying for is what we actually get.
Thank you, Mayor Miller. May I ask our lieutenant to speak to that?
Absolutely.
So our location when we fuel up is right here in Indio. So all the trucks go to Indio, they fuel up, and they hit
the county building?
Yes,
Yeah.
right behind the courthouse. So that's probably why you could have seen that truck going that way. But I do have, I split up the city of Indio and have one officer on the east side and one officer on the west side, and then the other officer is a floater.
Okay. Would it be possible, just for myself, would I be able to ride with you one time?
Sure.
I would love to go see what you do. I'd love to go ride with you and see what the handles. I got a whole different aspect when I rode with our police officers and our fire department on what they do on a day-to-day basis. So different than what you see on TV or anything else, and how they handle stuff. So I'd love to go with you one time and spend a few hours seeing what you do and how you go through the place.
Sure.
Love to.
Mayor Miller, that's a fantastic idea. I think that would be super, and we'll make sure that you have all the correct contact information.
Absolutely.
John will, for sure.
We appreciate it.
Can we get a picture of the mayor picking up some roadkill?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if I'll go that far.
How about rescuing a kitten?
Probably see me running from the dog, maybe.
Yeah.
So, anything else of our partners in the animal shelter?
No, just one more of encouragement. The city staff has done their best to do a lot of outreaching, and I know you do too. If you could, please coordinate with their special event staff to be out there, even if it's a short time, half the day or half the time. We have so many events that would help educate the public. They don't work on Saturdays. They don't pick up. Nobody will answer us, because those are the questions that are coming to us. And maybe if you look at their events and see which ones you can attend, it would help you as much as it would help us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mr. Furman?
And this, I just want to thank you for your work. You know, I spoke earlier about there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that we don't see, and that is a tough job. I do not envy you at all, but it's a job well needed. We all love our pets, and you know, we live in the Coachella Valley where there's a lot of animals that we just infiltrated their homes, and so there's a lot of work that you do that we don't see. So it's just greatly appreciated. So thank you, and you know, we love to take a tour and keep supporting. I support the No Kill Shelter. It's not an easy task. You all are doing the heavy lifting, so it's greatly appreciated by our community.
Thank you, Councilmember Herman.
Mayor Pro Tem?
So what I'm hearing is that we want to bring animals for adoption to the council meetings?
I didn't hear that. I heard that the special events. I'm not against. I think
I just thought I'd throw that out there. It's
well, we could, but we have a lot of this events that we have. We have our Food Truck Fridays. We have our second Saturday concerts. We had our event for the Indio Independence Day Bash, and we understand some of them are holidays and stuff like that. But we have a lot of events where you could come out, talk about spade and neutering, chips, microchips, adoption. You could have a couple dogs there because people don't know it till they see it, and then all of a sudden it happens and you end up taking one. So we're offering you an opportunity to come and have a booth with us and tell people what we need.
And to find creative ways, you know, to adopt, help us help you adopt some of these animals out there. So I think that's what's really important. Maybe all of us could adopt and have the picture and have the posters of each council member holding a cat, dog, reptile, whatever it is.
May I respond? Is that we have been taking a pet to the Board of Supervisors meetings weekly, and every single one we have taken has gotten adopted by someone. So.
Mayor?
So we're happy to.
I'm good with it. I mean, I don't know how many dogs you can afford, but, and I think we have a 5 limit, or is it 4?
We just bring one at a time.
My dog is 10. I've got my dog for 10.
Yeah, good for you. And on a personal note, I love your Food Truck Fridays. I think they're fabulous. I come to them.
It's our staff and our Tony Romero, our good partner.
It's really good.
Thank you for coming. And we know it's time consuming, but thank you for coming. It's a big ticket item for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any other than 10-7? No, I want one more. I want to put down on 10-19, actually, from Caltrans. I want to thank Tim Wassel and everyone else. I mean, people don't realize it, but you actually have to have a special permit to go onto the freeway to clean up trash and debris. And we get a lot of issues. Now, part of the train track, and that's a whole different story. This gives us an opportunity. Before, we only had like one intersection we could actually go on. This gives us an opportunity to go from one side of Indio to the other. I think we need to reach out to put it part of our Indio Lindo, talk to our Rotary clubs, nonprofits, and some of our churches to help us. And we need to go out there and continue to keep things clean and that, and also make notes of things that are out there. You know, not on obviously a daily basis, but we go out there and do a good cleanup, and then have Burtec or somebody come help us and throw the trash away. Don't leave the bags out there. But I think it really gives us a chance to really clean up the city, and would highlight us compared to any of the other cities. I don't think anybody else actually has a crew going out there or volunteers as much. I know everybody has a sign up says we do that mile. Don't ever see anybody out there doing it though. So if we could do that, but thank you, Tim, and thank you guys for doing that. Okay.
And Mayor, if I can expand on that, you made a good point. Something I learned being on Riverside County Transportation Commission and engagement with Union Pacific. Indio is one of the only cities, if not the only city in the Coachella Valley, that the train and the freeway has residents on both sides, right? So we have people on both sides. Some of the other cities, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, their cities and residents are away from the freeway. So a lot of times folks don't see that, or they don't cross the freeway. That's why our Moreau Bridge and our interchanges are so important in our city. But this speaks volumes on how we could continue to work on the beautification of our not only our city, but our freeways. So this is great. So I just want to expand on that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Ortiz?
Yeah, on 10.10, I just wanted to get an update from the water department for that turf replacement program, because I know there's some that's available residential, but then some of it's being used for public spaces. So I just want to get some clarification on the funding that's coming in.
Mr. Trejo?
And how much is left in either fund or that one fund? Yeah, sorry.
Very good. Ray Trejo, General Manager of Indio Water Authority. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. So the item before you is one of three items. I'll start from what we presented to you a year ago. A year ago, we successfully received $922,000 for turf removal. And that's the traditional rebate program, whether it's washers or turf removal in the front yard. The resident would submit an application, do the work, and after the course of verifying their receipts, IDOE would reimburse that amount. So that first $922,000, to date, we'd spent $484,000 of that as of last month.
You said today we spent how much?
To date, $484,000 of that. Again, that's not correlated to the item in front of you. I want to just go ahead and make sure I describe the three programs that we have. The second program to that, and again, the 922 is ongoing, and we continue to collect applications and submit to the state those reimbursements. The second program is $200,000 that we receive for disadvantaged communities. In fact, it's $196,000, but $200,000 is what we have in our account. We have completed that project, and that project you'll see if you drive down Miles Avenue. We selected a disadvantaged community that was approved by the state. Again, it's all by the census. And we're using and removing turf that is irrigated by the residents' water, by their meter. And the perception is that it's along the side of the, in front of their frontage of their yard. And the approach we took is that we were able to retrofit and convert 40 residents. If we just took one property or two properties, we would probably only do 4 residents or 5 at most with the different phases. So we chose to do as many residents, and so you'll see the continuity on Miles Avenue leading to downtown, and it is all disadvantaged communities. That has been exhausted as the first phase of the disadvantaged program, which you have in front of you.
So, sorry, on that project,
Yes.
did you have to get buy-in from the residents to do that
Yes,
conversion?
I can go into more detail. We actually, and I'll have to admit, I was there with the contractor that's before you statewide and the representative. We both knocked on the doors, and we have a Spanish and English version of a flyer to describe the program, the benefits, and we'd have to get the residents buy-in for ingress, regress, because we do have to tap into their system, and we would, some places, we would have to update their sprinkler system or their irrigators, smart irrigators, so that it irrigates more efficiently. So yeah, that is a tremendous amount of effort on behalf of statewide, is that it's program management as well. It's dealing with residents and coordinating with residents, timing and scheduling to make sure that we have their buy-in before we tap into their system. What we now have in front of you is an additional grant funding in the amount of $400,000 from the United States Bureau of Reclamation. We were awarded the contract, but since the new administration, and in fact, in our last meeting with the regional group, which is all the member agencies that are receiving funding from this, it is hung up with Dodge. So the last approval is Dodge, which I believe is the Department of Government Efficiency, is now going to tell us whether or not this project is going to be approved. We believe that the merits are in place, that there's benefits, and because of that, we are positioning ourselves ahead of time, asking for your approval for an additional $400,000 in the event that we get that green light anytime now. And we don't know what that time frame looks like, but we'd rather position, and it is a competitive process. We want to make sure that we can tell the federal United States Bureau of Reclamation that we have a contract in place. We've demonstrated a state-funded project, which was the first $200,000 or $196,000. We've completed that successfully. In fact, we've already received reimbursement for the first half of that. And by having all that in place and by tonight's approval, I think it'll really put us in front of the line to receive the approval for the United States Bureau of Reclamation. It is part 1 of 2 with the federal dollars. The first $400,000 is what we're putting in front of you. If that's successful, there is a part 2 to that we may come before you in the coming months if, again, Dodge approves this project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any
Thank you
other
for the clarification.
questions, comments? Mr. Gutron?
No, I was just gonna actually compliment you. I mean, all our departments deserve the compliments, but you've done really well on that, Miles, because I've heard those comments. Now you made it full circle, because I didn't understand exactly what they were getting at, but I get it now. They were very happy about the outreach done. I thought it was, you were promoting their landscaping design, not trying to encompass all that other that venue coming into downtown, which long time ago it was beautiful, and it's coming back alive again. So thank you.
Yeah, and if I may, thank you for that. And really, I want to also thank our staff, Roman Gonzalez, Miguel Pena, for supporting this program. So it is a team effort. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Trejo. If no more comments, we need to have a motion for 10.6 and then 10.8 through 25. If there's no more comments,
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
we got a first by Councilmember Gutron. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilmember Ortiz. We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Huitron.
Aye.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Holmes.
Aye.
And Mayor Miller.
Aye. Passes unanimously 5-0. With that, we'll move on to item 10.7. And Ms. Holmes?
So that's where I need to escape.
Yep, because Mr. Gutron wanted to pull it. Wait till she leaves, Mr. Gutron, and then you can ask your question. Okay?
Again, I had prompt the city manager in the meeting to make sure you did this, Miguel, not about your work, but to educate the public of the investment that we're making. Just like you did the investment when we had the booth at Stagecoach. It was 150,000. This is 140. I think the public needs to kind of understand what this budget is for, how many events it's going to be taking care of. And I think it's important. One of them, for example, was they were the same vendor that did the staging and sounding at our 4th of July event. But I think it's important that the public knows what the marketing side and economic development is doing. So that's why.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Miguel Ramirez Cornejo, Economic Development Director. So the item you have before you, the professional services agreement with Rhythm Tech Productions, it is a total of $140,000 not to exceed budget. And the reason why we did a not to exceed is because we have events that we make up during the time, and we need AV services. For right now, it's scheduled for 30 events. This includes State of the City, where they build a full-on stage, have 3 different LED screens, massive LED screens for our large events like Barbecue Festival and Asada Fest. We add a second screen. Anytime we're closing down Miles Avenue or having a larger event, we add a second screen so those on the north lot on Miles can also enjoy the entertainment and see the entertainment even though they're not in close proximity. For a tree lighting ceremony, they also build a stage for it. Last year they did that fake snow that popped up. They're a very nimble organization, and we ask them to do something and they have the equipment to do it. Not just that, but from the entertainment side, from the bands that we invite, they always compliment on the quality of sound and production that we have. There's a lot of other cities that also use different services, and they say they just have a couple speakers and you can't hear, and especially for artists because they're playing the music, they don't have the monitors facing them or the ear headphones so they can hear themselves sing to make sure that their sound sounds great, and we always get complimented on those services. And that's what Rhythm and Tech provides. They're just a true professional organization. For Independence Day, they were out there for more than 12 hours making sure that the stage is set up, the lighting is correct, and the sound is excellent. And they also provide LED screens for those types of event also.
So one of the biggest events that obviously we do is Tamale Festival. They're an intricate part of what they did last year. They're continuing doing this year.
So Rhythm and Tech is not a part of Tamale Festival for the reason that Pickering Events is our contractor for that. They contract their own AV team.
Understood.
Anything else, Mr. Catron? Anyone else?
No, thank you.
Would somebody like to make a motion for 10.7?
Oh, no, go ahead with 10.7.
That's the last one we have.
No, go ahead. No, I'm good.
You sure?
It's one of the hearings.
Okay.
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 I'll motion to approve 10.7.
Yeah, first by Councilmember Ortiz, the second by Councilmember Gutron. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Huitron.
Aye.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Mayor Miller.
Aye. That's unanimously 4-0. Can you bring in Ms. Holmes, please?
Sorry, Mayor, I got it mixed up with another.
Oh, no problem. I just didn't know if there was something you wanted to talk
No,
about.
there was, because this one, I'm going to recuse myself.
12-1?
Yeah.
Sonora
I
West?
still live there.
But do you own it?
I don't own, but just doing the
Okay.
climate.
Okay. With that, I'll move on to item number 11 now, which is administrative items. This is the the East Indio Employment Corridor Annexation Study Phase 1 Final Report. Brian Hollerson, you handling this for us, sir?
Yes, I
Director of
am, Mayor.
Community Development.
Yes. Good evening, Brian Halverson, Community Development Director. I just wanted to say, as I was listening tonight, the time capsule, looking at the past, this item is really looking to the future. So I'm excited to bring this to the council. Back in May, we came to you with a kind of a preliminary cursory review of our annexation study. But we promised that we'd come back with the final study for phase 1. So tonight, we'll go ahead and give a summary of the full conclusion of phase 1, and that's before we move forward to phase 2. We also are going to be recommending, as part of phase 2, to study a larger area. So with that in mind, at the end of the presentation, I'll be available. The consultant is going to do the presentation remotely.
Okay.
But again, I'm here to answer questions, as well as Rachel Lint with DUDEC. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the presentation, and then at the end, if there's questions, we can go from there. Thank you.
All right, good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Okay. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you so much, Brian, for that introduction. Again, my name is Rachel Lint, and I'm a senior planner in the Planning and Urban Design Group at DUDEC, and I serve as the project manager for this effort. As a reminder from the May meeting, and you can go ahead and progress the slide. Thank you so much. The consult team for this effort includes DUDEC as the prime consultant, in addition to pro forma advisors, CV strategies, and intersecting metrics. Next slide, please. So as Brian indicated, tonight we're here to share key findings and recommendations from the final report and to outline the next phase, which is phase 2, including the work plan and scope options. And as noted in the staff report, city staff recommends incorporating the expanded project area option as part of phase 2, which I will discuss a little bit further as the presentation goes on. So next slide, please. Thank you. Our agenda has 3 parts: a brief project overview, an overview of phase 1 final report, including the conceptual scenarios snapshot, key findings and recommendations, and lastly, a summary of the phase 2 work plan. Next slide. Starting with a brief overview of the project. Next slide, please. As a reminder, the city's long-term vision for the project is to expand industrial development opportunities in Indio to support job creation, diversification, enhance services, and promote investment within the city. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the project area, which is outlined in black, includes 3,300 acres of the city's eastern sphere of influence as defined by the general plan. Next slide, please. Since May's City Council presentation, the team has been working on the conceptual scenarios and the final report, which you can see in the last step of the project on the right-hand side. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to walk us through a high-level overview of the final report, which was included as an attachment to the staff report. The final report outlines a preliminary analysis of annexation feasibility based on the phase 1 work. The report covers all work starting from the desktop analysis, which I presented in May, all the way to the conceptual scenarios. The report concludes with recommendations and next steps. Work products from phase 1 are included as appendices to the final report to document all work completed. And in addition to being a complete overview of phase 1 work, the report also demonstrates to Riverside LAFCO that a comprehensive analysis has gone into consideration for potential reorganization. And in the next few slides, I'm going to walk us through a high-level overview of the conceptual scenarios that were outlined in the final report, followed by the recommendations and next steps. So what you see on the screen here is the overview of the conceptual scenarios. So the team developed and compared 3 planning scenarios using environmental, infrastructure, and market data to evaluate feasibility, access, cost, and growth compatibility. The 3 scenarios that you see summarized on the screen are defined by land use mix variations and assume the same amount of acreage for evaluation purposes. As a reminder from May's presentation, there is market demand for roughly 600 acres of development over a 20-year planning horizon within the planning area. So starting with scenario A, industrial infill. So this assumes infill development on existing industrial zone parcels within Indio. This scenario assumes that all new development is within the existing city boundaries and no annexation occurs. Scenario B1 is employment focus, and scenario B2 is employment workforce housing, and they are variations of one another. So scenario B assumes employment generating uses with annexation of all or some of the project area. Specifically, the uses include a mix of industrial, such as warehouse, light industrial, and flex industrial space, office and retail uses with a focus on light industrial. These uses are assumed to be situated within a campus-like setting with open space. In scenario B2, which is the employment workforce housing, assumes the same employment generating uses as scenario B1. Where the scenario differs from B1 is the introduction of workforce housing, and as a result, additional open space and retail is added to serve residents. And like scenario B1, B2 assumes that uses are situated within a campus-like setting. Next slide, please. Each conceptual scenario was then evaluated according to a series of criteria and measures that you see on the screen, and these are aligned with the objectives of annexation and subsequent development. And so the team looked at economic impact, cost, environmental impacts, transportation, and housing. I do want to note that tax revenue generation is a really important factor to fully understand the costs and benefits of annexation and the conceptual scenarios. However, this was not studied in phase 1, and it is part of the scope of work as part of phase 2. Next slide, please. Looking at the results of the evaluation, scenario B2, which is the employment workforce housing scenario, performs the highest due to robust job growth and lower per capita vehicle miles traveled due to the land use efficiency between commercial, industrial, and residential development. Scenario B1 performs similarly to B2 on job growth, market demand alignment, and cost factors. However, since scenario B1 does not include workforce housing, the scenario has a lower land use mix efficiency and as a result increases vehicle miles traveled. Scenario A, which is no annexation and focusing on industrial infill, performs the lowest. Although scenario A has moderate per capita vehicle miles traveled, as well as the lowest traffic impacts and capital costs, because the scenario assumes industrial infill development, it scored low on job growth. The amount of development that could be expected to occur is relatively small, decreasing its overall economic benefit. Next slide, please. The final report concludes with recommendations and next steps for phase 2 and beyond, which are summarized on the screen and can be reviewed in detail as part of the report. Okay, next slide, please. The last section of the presentation, I'm going to walk us through at a high level the phase 2 work plan and the scope of work options. First, the overall project is divided into 3 phases of work. Our current phase, which is phase 1, focuses on constraints, opportunities, and conceptual planning. Phase 2 that you see in the middle is the next phase, and that focuses on advancing annexation concepts and preparing the LAFCO application, including the services and utilities plan, as well as the fiscal impact report. And lastly, phase 3, which will be in the future, focuses on the CEQA analysis and the finalization of the LAFCO application. Next slide. So DUDEC's proposal for phase 2 includes 2 scopes of work, options for consideration. Option 1 assumes that the team would proceed with the original project area shown on the left-hand side, outlined in black. And option 2 assumes that the project area would be expanded, as outlined in blue, to include the additional portion of the eastern sphere of influence that is east of the original project area. This additional area totals roughly 1,200 acres, bringing the entire project area to approximately 4,600 acres. As a result, the team would conduct additional focused desktop analyses for this area related to environmental, infrastructure, public services, and utility constraints and opportunities, as this area was not evaluated during Phase 1. And as noted in the staff report, City staff recommends proceeding with Option 2. Next slide, please. The remaining tasks in the scope of work are designed to support either Option 1 or Option 2. As an initial step, based on findings from Phase 1, Dudex engineers will conduct a hydrology feasibility study to better understand the portion of the project area that is part of a special flood zone to determine the extent of any potential flood hazard areas. Next, the team would develop annexation concepts that would be reviewed by key interested parties, including the Planning Commission and City Council, in addition to land and business owners in the broader community. Phase 2 also includes a fiscal impact analysis to refine and select a preferred concept. Once a preferred concept is selected, the focus shifts to preparing the LAFCO application, including a service and utilities plan and fiscal impact report. In terms of project approvals during Phase 1, the approvals consist of Planning Commission and City Council meetings to help define the project size and the land use vision. Across Phase 2, ongoing engagement and coordination with various bodies, including the broad community, is planned to continue to inform the project and generate buy-in that will help build support for the LAFCO application and, in turn, the project approvals process. Outreach in Phase 2 will include targeted meetings with property owners, service providers, public agencies, and a City Council ad hoc committee, as well as strategic public workshops to collect feedback and inform the public on the project. Next slide, please. The proposal includes process timelines for options 1 and 2, highlighting what the team can achieve during Phase 2 depending on which option is selected. I'm showing option 2 on the screen since it's the staff recommendation. At a high level, option 1 scope of work can be achieved in approximately 15 months, while option 2 can be achieved in approximately 18 months. The expanded project timeline for option 2 is due to the focused desktop constraints analyses that would need to be conducted for the expanded area within the eastern sphere of influence. This process timeline also shows the relationship between Phase 2 and Phase 3, which would be a future effort, showing that the remaining work effort would take approximately 2 years to complete. And next slide, please. With that, that concludes tonight's presentation, and certainly open to hearing any thoughts or questions, and I'll turn it back over to the mayor and the council.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your analysis. Brian, anything you'd like to add to this that you think we need to know or want to give us any information?
The only thing, Mayor, that I'd like to emphasize is we purposely did the CEQA as Phase 3, so that's a later phase. It's a big ticket item, so I thought it would be appropriate to do this Phase 2 work that Rachel explained. And then if the council likes what they see and it's looking very feasible, it's looking like a very good option for the city, then we would go into a CEQA document, which does take a little bit of time. And it is expensive, so we want to make sure caution before we start that type of work that we get the go-ahead from the council.
We appreciate that. And why they expanded 1,200 acres after? What brought that to fruition or the decision behind it?
Very good decision, or very good question, I should say. We thought segmenting the sphere of influence seemed a little bit, maybe not the best approach. We're already right there, creeping up. Might as well just grab that whole area of the eastern sphere, and quite honestly, it's not going to add that much time, and the cost is minimal to add that acreage. You might as well just go for it all. So I think that it's better looking into the future, Indio's future, to grab more land than restrict ourselves.
Amen. Any other questions, comments for our either consultant or Brian? Mr. Ortiz?
One would be, what's the closest power source we have there, and is that a major cost that we're looking at if we were to develop there?
That's a good question, Mr. Montgomery.
To be determined. There is a substation in the general area. There is an application for a large solar facility out in that general area as well, which would be a generation issue. But there would need to be electrical infrastructure to serve whatever took place out there. It would need to be expanded.
Gotcha. I think, we looked at a different project. We were looking at linear generators for potentially powering in areas that don't have the electrical infrastructure. I think that's one of the things that I'd like to consider for these new developments going forward. If the cost is extremely high for developing new substations, are we able to power any of these developments with new types of generators that don't emit as much as the older generators do into our communities?
And we certainly can include that in the analysis as we look at the feasibility of bringing this into the city formally, because there is a fiscal analysis, and that's certainly a key part of that, is how developable is it in light of those constraints. So we can include that analysis, add it to the current review.
Okay. And then for the CEQA process, do you need the CEQA approval for the actual annexation?
So before we actually submit an application to LAFCO, they want that CEQA document, excuse me, as part of the application. So it's really important that we have that included. And in this case, it's going to be an EIR. It's going to be a programmatic EIR, but that does need to be included as part of the application.
And so before we do that CEQA process, how detailed are we going to be in what's going to be developed there for that CEQA process to go forward?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we'll have enough. I mean, we've already been in it a year, and by that time we'll be in this study for 2 years. I think we'll have plenty between all the work that DUDEC is doing and the studying and then the fiscal analysis, which is a requirement of LAFCO application. I think we are going to be well covered in order to do that.
Okay. And just to help answer the question, there will be pre-zoning as part of the application as well. So you'll be able to designate. Now we kind of have a good idea what it might be in almost entirely, but you can decide and designate those zoning classifications as part of the pre-zoning. Then the CEQA analysis is based on that, as is the fiscal analysis.
Okay. And then any insight into any flooding concerns at the moment, or is that still to be determined?
Yeah, it's still to be determined, but this phase 2 is crucial because they're going to do the hydrology study, so it's hard to say right now. But we'll be coming back.
Yeah, that's something, especially with the last storm that we had with Tropical Storm Hillary, and seeing how we're having some of the increased flooding in certain areas of our city. I think that's something that we're going to have to consider, not just with the history of what we've been going through, but what's the future going to look like in terms of increased flooding issues here in that area. Thanks.
Right.
Mr. Catron?
The only question, if I missed it, with the expansion that you recommended, how many additional property owners will we be dealing with?
Oh, that's a good question. I do not know offhand, Mr. Gutron. Obviously, it's about 1,200 acres, but I don't know the exact number. Maybe if our consultant has that handy, but I don't have the number of property owners.
And the reason is that's how many we'll have to deal with on the undeveloped area regarding the public safety side of it. Because they're absent, there's nothing there. It's the trespassing, it's the loitering, it's the illegal camping. Because it's going to be there. We don't see it now, but when we inherit it, we will. Yeah. And illegal dumping, because it's not too far. So it's going to be vital as we move forward to get landowners in contact.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Holverson, do you need anything from us other than receive and file?
Yeah, just to let you lastly know that if you're okay with moving to phase 2, I'll be coming back next month with a new contract, a new professional services agreement to move forward with the scope of work for phase 2.
We're
good.
Good, Mayor.
We're good.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. With that, we're going to move on to item 12.1. And did we have a recusal?
Well, we do, and so I erroneously mentioned that for 12.1, it was due to my financial interest in the downtown. 12.1 for me is related to the fact that I own, my home is in Terra-Lago, so that's why I'm recusing 12.1, and 12.2 is because of the landscape and lighting districts. affiliated with the area that my business is in.
Mr. Attorney?
Yes, so the council member has a financial interest in land, specifically her residence, that is within 500 feet of those districts in both 12.1 and 12.2. The only reso on 12.1 that the mayor pro tem actually has a conflict on, though, is 10502. So if you wanted to take the votes on the other two separately and only note your recusal for 10502, that would be permissible. I did want to note that Council Member Furman also had a potential conflict on Resolution 10504. However, in reference to Title II, California Code of Regulations 18233, which defines financial interests in real property, the council member does not have a legal conflict of interest in that property. However, he may nevertheless decide to abstain out of an abundance of caution for 10504.
I see that, but you said that they might be able to stay. Would they have to leave the dais when we voted on that actual resolution, or would they be able to stay here and abstain from that?
So these are relatively routine. If the council wanted to make a motion and a second and vote on all of them and simply note the recusals of the two council members as for each of those resos, that would be acceptable. However, if there's going to be a discussion about these, then I'd recommend the council members leave the dais.
Okay, I don't know if anybody from the community would ask, so I can't guarantee that. But on the light and landscape districts are something they're already into. We don't have it. Heritage Palms, where I live, took over their light and landscape district, so we don't have that same thing. But I would think that is a routine thing that they have really no say in. I would think that everybody, if they owned a home or a business, would not be able to vote in some of these.
You'd think
it's kind
that.
of crazy.
However, there have been instances where, so you're required to vote to make the assessment. However, the council could vote to lower or to not do the assessment.
I guess.
So there is a financial interest. I would say on the LLMDs, I mean, my legal analysis on it would be that this affects the public generally because it affects so many residential parcels throughout the whole city. However, I think out of an abundance of caution, we want to make sure we're identifying these conflicts. Just so everyone's on the same page, I did look up the rest of your home addresses to make sure that you were not in one of these districts yourselves, and you were not.
Yep. So what would be the pleasure? Would you two like to leave? Would you like to move?
Just step away and then
Okay.
get it over with and we'll be back.
Okay, all right.
And I won't be back because I have 12.2.
Are you going to recuse yourself on 12.2 also?
No.
Okay.
Just get out early. He's trying to get out early.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to get out early.
All right, so we just want to make sure in abundance of caution that they're doing that. So these council members have chosen to step off the dais, and we'll wait till they get off, and then we will start our public hearing, which is 12:1. With that, we're going to move on to our first public hearing item, is resolution number 10501, authorizing the levy of a special tax for the City of Indio Community Facilities District number 2004-1 Law Enforcement Fire and Paramedic Service and annexation areas thereto. The City of Indio Community Facilities District number 2004-2 Law Enforcement Fire and Paramedic Services. Resolution number 10502 Community Facility District number 2004-3 Terra Lago Area number 1. Resolution number 10303 Community Facilities District number 2005-1 Talavera Area number 1 and number 2. And resolution number 10504 Community Facilities District number 2006-1 Sonora Wells for fiscal year 2025-2026. Ruby Walla will be handling this. Thank you, Ruby.
Yes, good evening, Ruby Walla,
was a
Director of
mouthful.
Finance. Yes, it was. The item before you is the we're seeking the annual authorization from the City Council to move forward with the levies for the 25-26 year. What they entail are the 2004-1 and 2004-2, which are directly related to the public safety assessment, the levy there for public safety services to offset public safety costs, currently estimated about $5 million to offset about $65 million of overall total public safety costs. That's inclusive of fire safety as well. And with that, the levy allows for, or as per the resolution, a 2% increase. So the resolution, as well as your staff report, includes that 2% allowed increase, which we will work directly with our tax administrator on that, which is Will Dan, to finalize that based on the allowed parcels and those annexed into these CFDs. So with that being said, the increase of 2% is $10.70, increasing from $534.94 to $545.64. And so that is for the public safety component. The other resolutions you have before you with the other CFDs are directly related for infrastructure improvements. And again, that is something that our tax administrator will work on finalizing those, because we do have in some instances where some of those properties will be paid off, or they pay in advance, or if they transfer ownership. So they will do the full analysis prior to the final submission of the levy roll. So what you have inclusive of here is primarily estimates, but we're seeking the authorization overall, and that therefore required to have a public hearing and take public comment, and then we'll follow through with seeking authorization.
Thank you. We do this every year. Any comments or questions of Ruby?
I was just curious if you heard anybody that's written to you, talked to you regarding these increases.
No, I have not.
Good.
All right. With that, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody that wishes to speak on this item, or is there anybody in the queue? Sabdi? One last chance. With that, we'll close the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the council?
Motion to authorize the levy of a special tax for fiscal year 2025-26 through the adoption of resolution number 10501 for City of Indio Community Facilities District 2004-1 and annexation areas thereto, and City of Indio Community Facilities District number 2004-2, resolution number 10502 for Community Facilities District number 2004-3, resolution number 10503 for Community Facilities District number 2005-1, and resolution number 10504 for Community Facilities District number 2006-1.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
First by Councilmember Ortiz, second by Councilmember Gutron. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Huitron.
Aye.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Aye.
And Mayor Miller.
Aye. That's unanimously 3-0. With that, we'll move on to 12.2. Can you bring in Councilmember, I believe, Furman? Please let the record reflect that Councilmember Furman is joining us, and Councilmember and Mayor Pro Tem Holmes will not be with us. He was recused on this item. Move on to number 12.2 is a resolution number 10505 approving the engineer's annual levy report, and resolution number 10506 ordering the levy and collection of assessments for the 52 lighting and landscape districts number 01 through 22, 24 through 29, and 31 through 54. Proceedings related to the levy and annual assessment for fiscal year 25-26. Mr. Tim Wassel will be handling that for us.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. So the city has 52 separate landscaping lighting districts that were formed in accordance with the Lighting and Landscaping Act of 1972. And Council is required to annually review and approve the engineer's report that was attached to this item, and during a public hearing. And if they confirm and agree with the engineer's report, then they will deem it approved, and they will also approve the levy of the assessments accordingly. And with that, it is our recommendation to adopt both resolutions 10505 and 10506, approving the engineer's report and approving the levy after holding a public hearing. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Wassel before we open the public hearing? No, it's pretty routine. With that, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody that wishes to speak on this item for the 52 lighting and landscape districts? No? Sabdi, is there anybody in the queue? With that, we will close the public hearing. What is the pleasure of the council?
I'll motion to adopt resolution number 10505 approving the engineer's annual levy report for the 52 Indio landscape and lighting districts for fiscal year 2025-26, Resolution number 10506, ordering the levy and collection of assessments within the 52 landscape and lighting districts for fiscal year 2025-26, and authorize the finance director to make necessary budget adjustments in accordance with the adopted engineer's annual levy report.
Do we have a second?
So move.
Go first by Councilmember Ortiz, second by Councilmember Gutron. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Huitron.
Aye.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Aye.
Councilmember Furman. And Mayor Miller.
Aye, passed unanimously 4-0. Thank you for all of that. With that, we are going to move on to public comments. So we do have a couple individuals that wishes to speak. Dory Forbes, would you like to come up? And then you have 3 minutes to speak, sir, and welcome to the City of Indio.
Well, 3 minutes isn't going to cover it, so I'm going to waste 30 seconds and say I've been a homeowner resident of Indio since 1987, and I grew up in Eagle Mountain, if somebody might remember that, since 1956, and I am impressed with what's going on in the City of Indio right now. The modernization, the construction, the beautification, I'm thoroughly impressed, and I just wanted to tell you all that.
Okay.
My issue is an IWA issue, if you all want to put on your IWA hats. And I have a quick question. Y'all are homeowners, obviously. Do you know what size water meter feeds your home? Anybody?
3/4 inch.
Next? 3/4 inch. Next? No clue? Anybody else? I'm not even gonna guess. Okay, so you're at about 50-50. You're probably a better rate than most customers of Indio Water. I have an issue with the base rate that was initiated in 2006. The thing with the base rate is a lot of utilities do similar things. They call it a base rate, a standby charge, a minimum charge, which City of Indio had a minimum back in the day before it was IWA. All good and great. But what IWA did was they based it on the size of your meter, which is basically irrelevant to the water that you use, because whether you have a 5/8 meter or a 2-inch meter, you pay for the water that you use. The base rate is tied to your meter size. The problem is, how do you know what your meter size is? Most people don't. I didn't. So since 2006, I have been paying double the base rate because I happen to have a 1-inch meter that I was not aware of, I did not request, I did not authorize, but I've been paying double since 2006 for that meter. And that has turned into a serious amount of money, in excess of $5,000. I don't know where the 1-inch meter came from, if it was there when I purchased the house. There was a meter change during the City of Indio reign for a damaged meter that I'm aware of, and there have been 2 meter changes since, upgrades to the new remote reads, et cetera, Not once was I asked, hey, do you really want this 1-inch meter? Do you really need this 1-inch meter? Of course I don't. It has zero benefit to me and zero expense to Indio Water Authority. Once that meter's installed, it doesn't matter what size it is. There is no additional expense to Indio Water and no benefit to me whatsoever. I don't know the difference between a 3/4 and a 1. I have a 3/4 now. But over the years, and of course prices go up just like everything else, this has turned into a serious amount of money. Over double of what a 3/4 meter is, to the tune of about $30 a month extra that I'm paying for absolutely nothing. It has no benefit to me, and it has no expense to IWA.
Okay.
It's pure profit.
All right, Dory, can you wrap it up?
I can wrap it up.
And we'll have Ray Trejo, who is our Indio
Okay.
Water Board General Manager, speak with you.
That'll be my final. I came to 2 of the members and sort of explained the problem. They said, Ray's the man you need to go to. I made an appointment with Ray. We had a very amicable meeting around the table with himself, his assistant, myself. And the bottom line result was, yeah, you kind of got the short end of the stick. But IWA can initiate the problem, but they can't solve it because they have no means of making it right, apparently. And, well, that was the basic result of the whole meeting. Yes, I got the short end of the stick, but there is no way to rectify that. Well, it's been rectified for the future. It was rectified pretty quick. And I'm speaking me to you. I'm not talking class action because I am certainly not the only one that's in this position. I know that for a fact. I know there's more people involved here in this particular situation. Okay. And since 2006, we're talking in excess of $5,000 extra that I have paid for no benefit to me, none whatsoever.
Thank you, Mr.
That's
Forbes.
the problem.
Thank you.
Again, what's my alternative here? He recommended city attorney. Do I make an appointment with the city
You can
attorney?
make an appointment with the city attorney. If you can talk to Ray Trejo real quick, he'll give you his card. He will lead you in the
I've
right
got his
manner.
card.
We appreciate it.
Right here.
Thank you.
Mr.
Forbes.
President. Commission.
Victor Kustek from the IPOA coming to join us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your service, first off, and thank you for coming down.
Hi, Councilmember, Mayor, City Manager in Chief. Thanks for having me. I'm here to share some exciting news. The Indio Police Officer Association is doing the second annual backpack giveaway to the last need, the family members in our city that can't really afford to start off the school year on a positive note. So I'm here officially wanted to invite every single one of you, City Manager, the city, the citizens, and whoever else can come out, support, reach out to your businessmen, to your district, and see whoever else wants to help out. This isn't the Indio police officer trying to get all the glory or anything. It's just the goal is to actually get as many backpack to kids to start off a good school year so they can graduate and become a great citizen out of Indio and hopefully join the police department. So I'm reaching out, seeing whoever can help out. The first day of the event's going to be August 9th at Miles Park. We're going to get water slides out there. We're going to have backpacks and school supplies and whatever else we can get our hands out. There's several business that already reached out to us that are going to donate some supplies to hydrate. It's going to be a hot one. With that, I'll accept any questions that you guys have.
And August 9th, what time? Do you have a time that
I'm
starts?
sorry. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So the backpacks, the supplies last. Children must be present and show up, and hopefully we have a great turnout.
I'll give you a call. More than happy to help. So I'm
really
sure
do
the rest of the council
appreciate
members
that.
are too. You can count on us.
I'll see you guys all out there.
Mayor, if I can?
Sure.
I just want to thank you for this and also for the public. This gives you an opportunity to be face to face with our officers. If you have something going on in your community, a concern, or you pat them on the back. You know, there's a lot of times they're out and they're working and you don't get a chance to talk to them. We just spoke about them being at some of our events and attending those. It's a great opportunity to come out and talk to them. I just spoke to Lieutenant Leyva about traffic. You know, traffic's always a concern in every city, no matter what. But Lieutenant Leyva has a very, very, very open door policy when it comes to mitigating traffic concerns. And we've been working for about a year on this together. And with school starting back up soon, this is a perfect opportunity to start to address those concerns with our police department and the supervisors. So I appreciate what you guys are doing, and thank you.
Thank you.
It is great. All the officers do love interacting with our citizens. It's a great break our command staff supports it. It's a great event for the city, and the police officers. It helps everyone, not just certain people.
We appreciate it. Mr. Gutron?
I was just going to say thank you for doing this. And as a proud member for 40 years of IPOA, one as a member, one as an associate because of management, but it's nice to see the association coming back and doing their community events and activities. Thank you, as Councilman Wayman said, this is the opportunity to get to meet and greet.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you.
See you guys out there.
Quick question. Do you have a flyer that you can share with us so that we can
I
send
do.
it out?
I'll send out the flyer to all you guys. All you guys have my contact. Send a flyer out, and today was the first time we made it public, so
Awesome.
wanted
Awesome.
to make sure you guys are first to know.
Okay, thank you.
Good catch, Oscar. Does anyone else wish to speak on public comments? No? With that, we are getting ready to move back into closed session. But Mr. Gutron, you wanted to do a moment of silence for somebody? Do you want to say a few words in that before, or how would you like to do it?
I just have a moment of silence in honoring Linda Badgen, former member of the employee of the City of Indio, but one that her and her husband Mel gave their hearts to make people happy during the Christmas holidays as Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. So a moment of silence I would ask of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, City Attorney, do we need to do anything to move into closed session, and will we be reporting out when we're done?
So the council will reconvene after they've concluded with closed session and report out any reportable action.
Thank you very much. We don't expect most of you to be here, but staff, we shall be back shortly. We'll adjourn to closed session.